40 of the best sim racers. $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
I love New York, and I also love the intense battles we've seen this season. With the championship still in the balance for the season finale, the virtual fans look to be on their feet for this one tonight. So kick back, grab something cold, because it's going to be hot as we get ready to watch round 10 of the Precision Racing League Formula 3 Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hello everyone, and in the booth with me this evening is my little brother over there, Johnny. Over there in the big chair, Joe Peak. Twisting and tweaking the dials for us this evening, as he's done every week. This is the mysterious man behind the camera. Well, that is our guru. His name is Dougie Beard, and we love him. He's a great dude. Johnny, here we are, Watkins, Glen. This place is our jams. Obviously, both of us New Yorkers, born and bred there. Not near Watkins, Glen, but we certainly know about the history of this track. You certainly have a personal connection here. Maybe even have a couple of Gibson guitars of your own with the name Watkins, Glen on them. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about this old joint?
Well, first of all, they're Paul Reed Smith guitars. I don't know if that makes a difference. I'm not a music guy. Okay.
It does.
Yeah. But yes, many successes here at this track. You know, I could sit here and give you the Wikipedia definition of the Watkins Glen, but nothing gives it justice. It's just a historic track. It's a historic event. It's in a historic state, which is really not. It's on the cusp of the end of New York, but it's still, what a beautiful facility. And to round out the season at this track is just, you know, that's the icing on the cake. We're going to talk about the battles a little bit, but you know, this track tonight is going to be 11 turns. They're going to be running the boot configuration. It's about 3.36 miles in length. They will not be using the bus stop, obviously, so straight into the turn 5 into the carousel. But to get to get a look at this track firsthand, let's jump aboard the GSRC Dallara F3.
All right, we're in the GSRC Formula 3, so let's do a lap around Watkins Glen. Down into the 90, you've got to be both brave on the brakes, but aggressive in getting back on the throttle. You can use the paved runoff as you swing out, but be sure not to straddle the curbing because it can damage the underside of the car pretty easily. As you come into the S's, you'll mainly be focusing on straightening them out as much as possible. But what'll really determine your speed is what kind of launch you got out of the first corner. On top of that, the draft is going to be building up big time, and by the end of the backstretch, it won't be uncommon to find drivers side by side with you. But there's hardly any braking needed into the carousel, so don't expect to outbrake your opponents. Before you know it, you've got to swing back across the track to set up for the chute. Fight the temptation to turn in too early and try to square off the exit. Be careful about putting your wheels in the grass though, because things can go horribly wrong very quickly when you lose control. At the bottom of the hill is the toe of the boot. Sometimes drivers might try a surprise attack into here, but carrying your momentum through the corner will be critical. The uphill climb out of it is incredibly steep, and you won't be in that low of a gear, so you'll need all the grunt you can get. Now we fly towards the heel of the boot, and this is another decently long straight. Drivers who see you didn't get a good run will probably pounce on their way into this right-hander. Once again, you've got to get the car off to the right side and attempt to get it to turn into turn 9. With it being off camber and having a blind crest on entry, I think it's safe to say everyone will struggle here. Depending on your downforce and the weather, the penultimate corner could be flat out or it could be incredibly marginal. Either way, wrecking there is likely to end your race. At last, the final turn tempts you into taking it faster and faster, but stay away from the outside barrier since there's no room for error. However, hopefully, you've now finished a lap around Watkins Glen.
And that is the first time you've seen the GSRC Formula 3, the Dallara Formula 3 here at Watkins Glen. And you know, this whole season, the Precision Racing League Formula 3 series has been brought to you by Apex Button Box. And you know, their plan this season was for all drivers who competed in at least 8 races were going to be entered into a random drawing to receive a free button box. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to tell you who that is before the end of the race because it's, again, going to be a random drawing. So we don't know if we're getting that tonight or if we'll make that big announcement at the beginning of next season. But it is Apex Button Box's goal to be able to provide an affordable, reliable button box to those who do not have the time or materials to create their own. To find out how you can get your hands on one of those great button boxes, check them out on their Facebook page. Just go on over there when you get a chance. Type in Apex Button Box. You are sure to find them. Don't worry about it. They are there. Now,
Sean,
what?
you and I completed 8 races broadcasting, right? So does that mean we're entered?
No.
Okay.
We commentators don't count. Maybe you'll have to race with them next season or something, John, and maybe you can get a button box. So, but
I would give it to you. Just
FYI. That's very sweet. I appreciate that, and I appreciated your sentiment today as well. I'm very proud to be your brother also. Thank you. And
you want a cookie?
You can put that cookie in the mail. Yes. All right, let's get to the driver's standings because that's really, really the big story tonight. We have a battle on our hands. David Holland, Michael Overbay, 11 points behind. They're both here. They're both racing tonight, and they looked fast in practice. So we'll see how this all works out. Espinosa's got third, locked up by himself. Watch that battle between Padavani, Old Glitter Pants, and Montini. I think they're both here tonight. I see Jefferson. Have I seen Francisco Montini? And yes, I have, because right now he's second in qualifying. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But there's your top 5 in the standings. Now let's go to the team standings because we still have a battle at play there. And it's for first place right now. Leadfoot, they're only 18 points ahead of, well, Michael Overbay, Jefferson Padavani, and Malden. All right, so let's put it this way. If Overbay and Padavani can somehow pull off a better overall result and possibly a win and error or 1-2 over Holland and Swaby, well, then we may have a story on our hands this evening. So Crash for Cash, I always get that wrong, I do it in reverse, have moved up to third. Forward Bite's gone back to fourth, and that is not over. And then you have Tizing Noob Master team back there in fifth, just getting up there into the top 5. John, throw out the details for everybody so we can get to the qualifying.
Round 10 of 10, the last race. Obviously, people that have been watching, you guys know that this is the Dallara F3 car. The setups being used tonight are open, except for the top 3 qualifiers. They will have to run a fixed setup. No, just kidding. All setups are open, including the top 3. Holland just went off the track when I said that. Race distance, 45 minutes. These guys will have to do 1 pit stop. So look for that to come into play here as well. Incident cap 20. I don't know if that's going to be an issue, but I would say key markers tonight, turn 1. These guys are going off of the apron edge there onto the flat and coming back onto the track at 110 miles an hour. And it's almost a bonsai move. So hopefully that doesn't bite these guys. And then obviously the biggest issue is going to be the laces, or what we're going to call the Vinny Allegretta corner. That's right, going into the boot. That is an off-camber turn, and we've seen some of these guys get loose and break the rear end in that corner. Even in real life, that's a treacherous corner. Right, Vinny? All right, Sean, take it from there.
All right, John. You know, this race tonight and all of them here in the Precision Racing League Formula 3 season have been on the iRacing Esports Network. And boy, the Global SimRacing Channel, really, really proud to be a part of this tremendous network of broadcasters that we have over here. These races will continue next season. We have confirmation that the Formula 3 series will be back. They all love this car. No one's getting out of it. So we'll get ready. We'll take a little bit of time off and we'll get ready for a new season. But we'll be back here on the iRacing Esports Network Thursday nights, 9 o'clock p.m. And it'll be another 10-race season for Season 4 here in 2019. John, the qualifying times are in, and right now, old Francisco Montini sitting on the top of qualifying, and Owen McLaughlin has found a home in the top 2 there. So it's Holland, a bit of a surprise, still out there trying to find speed. In fact, not on track right now. Holland sitting just in P3. So Overbay out there still trying to find a better lap.
Yeah, we still got 3 minutes left in qualifying. Obviously, during practice, Holland was he rose to the top there during the practice charts. So Holland's, he'll probably come out and try to make another 2 laps here and try to get up to the front. But, here starting position is not that critical if you're in the top 5. When you're back behind the top 5, is where the accordion and the bottleneck happens going into turn 1 on that first lap. So we'll look for these guys to kind of pick up the pace here, including Padovani, Overbay, and others.
Well, and the weather looks like we've got a pretty good day for racing. Right now, we're actually in the morning time here during qualifying. Just after 9 o'clock virtual standard time, partly cloudy skies. Only about 88 degrees on track. The humidity seems a bit high, but John, I don't think that'll be an issue here. Do you?
I don't think it'll be an issue if they can get adjusted, and I think that's a problem we're seeing. When they first started practice, it was 73 degrees track temperature, so the track has already risen 15 degrees. I would expect us to see upwards of 100 plus when we get to race time and even towards the end of the race into the 10:30 hour. So that will play a huge difference for some of these drivers. So it may be an issue when they pit. They also make a tire pressure adjustment.
So tire pressure very well could come into play. It's funny, we were talking about that a little bit during the pre-race and how, missing that adjustment or going the wrong way on that probably could be very critical here this evening, especially when it comes to side-by-side racing. How much of that do you think we'll see? I mean, that move into the carousel that you talked about, the bonsai move, they'll play it safe early probably, but that last 15 minutes should get exciting, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the longer straightaway here is coming out of the high-speed S's. If you can get through the S's with a low downforce car and you can get it to turn, that back straightaway speed, including the slipstream, is going to be huge. So someone that's out in front and has about a 4 or 5 tenths lead, you can expect 2 or 3 cars to gain up on them within half a lap, especially going into the boot. So look for that as well.
Overbay just went to P4, John, with only about 40 seconds left in qualifying. Good time to get fast. Who did I just see move up the board? Holland is back in the car. He's out there digging for more. Obviously not satisfied with that P3. I think he's going to get a chance at one more. It's going to be awful close for him to get back here.
Yeah, he's in the boot currently right now, coming out of the toe and down towards the heel. So he's got a great line. His car looks extremely fast. What we want to see is him coming back up onto the NASCAR track, because that off-camber left-hand turn, that's a low-speed corner. But with the downforce settings that they're probably running, and I use the word probably, that's going to play havoc on that left-hander.
Yeah, and he's not going to make it back to the line in time. So this is it for Holland. Let's see what he can milk out of this. Does it get him on the pole? He is looking awful quick, John. I like the way that timer is looking. Hustling it out of the final turn. Down the front straight, across the start-finish line. Is it good enough? Ooh, it's good enough for P2. We'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take that. All right.
Overbay completing his last one. We'll go to him now. Let's see what Michael Overbay can do here in his geodesic Dallara F3.
You know, you mentioned the points there, Sean, on the drivers. Obviously, first and second have it locked up. But you still want to run a race to where you're going to be able to finish decent. So that fight for fourth position is going to be exciting. So I look to see those guys kind of step it up.
Well, Overbay looking quick out of the final turn. Oh, and he wraps it. That's going to disqualify that lap. Overbay is done. P4, as good as he's going to get. Jay Steffi right now would be the only one that could knock him off. But John, he's not going to be able to do it. Why? Well, because he's off the track now. So looks like that's as good as it's going to get with a little less than a minute left here in qualifying. Let's go to the grid. Francisco Montini going to get a pole this evening. Yes, Pacho gets a pole this evening. And David Holland going to round out the front row with him. Owen McLaughlin and Michael Overbay there in row 2. Row 3 going to be fielded by Eric Luke and Nicholas Delp. Row 4 going to be David Cristelli and Jefferson Glitterpants Padavani with an 8th place qualifying effort. Row 5, Lyndon Swaby and Andres Espinosa.
In 11th, we got Aaron Webb, and on the outside of him, Christopher Richards. Jay Steffi will be starting 13th this evening alongside Danny Duchesne. In 15th, Charles Sumner, and outside of him, Daniel Barnett. In 17th, the Samurai, the one and only Takeshi Kita, and David Abear starting 18th. David, how you like that? I got it right. Mark File in 19th with Tyler Gore. Tyler Gore starting in 20th.
We want to thank Tyler Gore for inventing the internet that we all exist on here.
Yes, true.
Bringing this race. So thank you, Ty. Matthew Gunderson going to start 21st. Paul Wilvers 22nd today. Brett Thurman starting 23rd. And I think Richie Pittenger is going to be at DNS. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see if Pittenger makes the field this week. And there you go, John. That is your starting order here at Watkins Glen. The weather, you know, it hasn't taken much of a turn. In fact, it's pretty well unchanged. So is the time. We're still here at just after 9 a.m. virtual standard time. So we've got us a morning race here in Watkins Glen. And boy, John, knowing the history of the fans here and the way they kind of get down in the infield, I don't know that anybody is ready for a race right yet. But we got one as everybody is getting ready on the grid.
Yeah, this is... Go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, we got to change that signage. Sprint? Yeah? Is that still a thing? I don't know.
Nah, no. Not a thing. Not a thing here.
We have a full field here tonight. The lights are up. And we're mean green and underway here at Watkins Glen International. And the Formula 3 Series here, the Precision Racing League, heading down into the 90 for the first time. 45 minutes of racing underway, and we've got several off in the back there. Oh no, and a couple of them into the wall. We'll get back to that on screen. Up front, it's Montini breaking away. Holland, Owen McLaughlin, Mike Overbay. And a battle already up through the S's. It's Holland making his presence felt.
Look for that 10-digit phone number in third. You know, he's got the ideal spot there in the catbird seat.
Holland already screaming to the front. He's got it figured out down in the carousel. Holland breaks away from Montini, and here comes McLaughlin John down into Allegretta.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to go wide here, especially on a green track and cold tires. They get through there just fine, though.
McLaughlin looking awful brave early here, John, and we got cars behind. It was Cristelli. Cristelli into the barrier. Oh, horrible shunt. Back to McLaughlin. No, Eric Luke. Luke looks to the inside. The top three start to pull away here just a bit, John, on the opening lap.
Yeah, these top five, it looks like we're going to get a lap completed with them literally, well, not beating and banging, but I expect a little argy-bargy amongst these top five here.
We'll have all that, everything that happened on the opening lap there with Cristelli's incident. The incident happened right off the start. We'll get back to that in a little bit. We'll stay on the racing here, though, because Overbay right now got a mirror full of Eric Luke. And they're jockeying back through the field. I think Aaron Webb might have been one of those cars involved in the early incident, John. He's pulled off into the pits. In fact, he was. You can see by the damage there.
Yeah, unfortunate for Aaron. You know, this is the last race, so a lot of these, you know, most of these guys want to show something for potential sponsorship or, you know, new teams going into the off season. So you're going to probably see some moves being made this evening that you normally wouldn't see throughout the season just to have a good finish.
Speaking of moves, Overbay looking at maybe pestering Francisco Montini there a little bit, changing lines up just a bit, maybe try and cause a little confusion in front of him. But what we come into now, John, is we've got a top six and a big gap back to Jay Steffi, who is battling with Takeshi Kita. The Samurai, John, has already picked up 9 spots. What is this guy doing this season? He's awful lucky or awful good or somewhere in between, but the Samurai has been awful hot. And, well, he's picked up 9. He's got 1 more right in front of him, in front of Jay that is Jay Steffi.
Yeah, you know, Takeshi Kita and Francisco Montini, those are 2 drivers that in the beginning of the season maybe didn't get that comfortable sensation of this new car, and it took a while, especially for Montini to execute a good finish. But the last few races, both Montini and Takeshi Kita, they are really executing well and you know, obviously getting the hang of this car to be up 9 positions already.
And you know, at the end of the first lap, I don't know if we actually caught it or not on camera. We might have seen it just a little bit. Oh, hang on a second. We got a battle here on screen as I'm just talking here. Holland Montini. And I was going to say Overbay. I think we saw Overbay clip the wall there, John, coming out of the final turn. Got much like we saw in qualifying. Just pushing the limits of the track there, and that is probably the worst place to do it. Or maybe the easiest place here at Watkins Glen to have that happen to you.
Yeah, these top 4 or 5, they're, I mean, you can literally throw a blanket over them.
Yeah. Yeah,
the draft here is so huge because you have so many corners that are, you know, they're hard braking. So you can go in deeper than the guy previous, and you can go in and have an early apex and come out later. You know, there's several different ways around it. Let's watch the leader as he goes into turn 1. This is what I was talking about during the pre-race. These guys are actually going in a lot deeper than any normal series would, and they can get away with it. But they go over that berm, and, you know, they go out to that flat area to get that run.
All the way out in that flat area, like in a lot of cars, that's really not where you want to be, and you certainly don't want to turn back onto the track in that little free zone. In a lot of cars, you really can't get that done, especially in a GT. It's a really, really rough area to manage, but as they get through the S's and back up the straightaway, this is really where it starts to open up. You see that draft come into play that you were talking about here. As Holland goes back to try and take the lead, he's going to get it from Montini. I don't think Montini's going to fight him too hard about it.
Yeah, we're going to see this, throughout the evening. These guys are going to swap first, second, third, fourth, because that back straightaway just lends itself to a perfect drafting scenario.
Yeah, I'm watching McLaughlin back there. You know what? He's just taking it easy. I think he's just out for a ride right now. He's like, all right, you know what? I've got these guys right over the nose of my car. I don't need to fight too hard with them. Maybe I'll just hang out here and stay out of trouble. Maybe wait for one of them to make a mistake. Holland up front there took a run there Montini took a run at Holland there for a moment, John. Then thought better of it, backed out. Holland opens that gap up a little bit after that.
You talk about McLaughlin. I mean, he's probably in tire conservation mode. I mean, this track temperature has already gone up 3 degrees from the start of the green flag run. So tire management will be key, and these top 3 or 4 are fighting.
Yeah, they really are. They don't look like they're fighting right now, but they are. I mean, obviously, but from what we've seen out of Holland and Montini, boy, they really could have come close coming off the exit there, John, getting back to the track. When you see that dust flying, it's like, okay, that means tires may slide at some point and somebody may wreck it. Look at the battle up through the S's. Here we go. Montini looks to make the move on Holland. Side by side.
We're going to see this every lap.
Yep.
And it's just, I want to go back to the back a little bit in 9th place. Mark Feil, he's currently in 9th. He's up 10 positions. Him, Jay Steffi, Keita, Charles Sumner, Daniel Barnett, all having great runs. Hopefully none of those guys were involved in that first lap, first corner incident that we talked about. And hopefully our director, we can go back and actually view that right now and take a look at, see what happened.
Yeah, let's here in just a moment. We'll go back to that here and take a look at that opening incident. See what happened there off the start, but somebody got it wrong going down into the 90 here, John, as we get started.
Yeah, it's just that aggression we talked about, from 8th on back, that it's just accordion.
Yeah, Padovani gets spun there and gets into the barrier.
Yeah, unfortunately, Padovani sitting in 4th before the start of this race had a tight battle with Montini, who Montini is in the lead right now. So tough night for Glitter Pants. Did not want that to happen.
No, and the contact was just enough to send him. And then we'll go on to what happened with David Cristelli and catch this. Cristelli, again, as I said, just a really hard shunt here. Coming down, trying to make the right-hander, and then all of a sudden it's checked up. Got checked up and slung all the way out to the tire barrier. And it resulted in a pit stop for him. Back up front, though, it's still David Holland, Francisco Montini. John, that's about a half a second margin. The battle still continues. The one guy who doesn't look very interested in playing this game is Eric Luke, because he's not done. He's not doing playing the same game that Holland and Montini are up there. Luke seems to be happy to hang out. It's either that or he just can't get a good enough run at overpay.
Yeah, he could be just minding his own P's and Q's right now and just trying to race the track and not the drivers in front of him, which would probably be smart. These guys have they're able to catch back up outside of the high-speed S's onto the back straightaway. So I don't think that Luke right now is too concerned or too worried. He also may be thinking about what adjustments he'd like.
John, Aaron Webb just had a really, really big moment. I think we can catch this on the replay. Go back maybe about 30 seconds or so. He, I don't know, a little 4x4 action, but the car literally, he gets all 4 off the ground. I don't think you're supposed to do that here in a Dallara F3 at Watkins Glen. No? We'll do it on board. It's going to look a lot more violent from on board. When I caught it out of the corner of my eye, all I saw was the dust flying and the car hop up off the ground. On board with Aaron Webb.
Yeah, he's through the carousel right here. The car looks like it washes up. He gets over that berm, and yeah, that what a recovery. What a
Yeah.
recovery.
That could have gone all kinds of bad down there in Allegretta. He might have had to dump the car. I didn't say that, did I? I did.
Well,
I can't take it back either.
Just to be fair, you know,
Be fair with P10. Hang on, Sumner, Barnett. I was wondering when this was going to kind of ignite, because those two were just playing follow the leader, but Barnett actually looks like he's making up time now. Lap time's a little bit better on the average here at the moment.
is that 2 R's? B-A-R?
I don't know. I got to go.
That was
Nobody's
a
gonna get
Smokey and a
Yeah.
Bandit reference.
Yeah.
I was watching.
All of like one person got it. That's okay. That's all right. All right, here we go. John, I thought Barnett had a run at him again on the average. The time started to look a little bit better, but boy, he lost a little something there midway through that lap. Kind of fooled us.
I want to call out Andre Espinoza in 16th. This is a very atypical race for him. I don't know if he has damage or was involved in that first lap incident, but he's, you know, his pace is about a second off, which is not that bad considering he doesn't have any drafting help. But this is an unusual spot for Andre to be in.
Yeah, and he's already been in the pits, John, so I think he did get involved in one of those incidents or picked up damage somewhere, but it certainly got him, even his lap times right now are a little subpar compared to, let's say, the top 5 or top 6 right now, so definitely a bit off tonight. The SRT driver, you know, SRT strong generally, but here at Watkins Glen, they do seem to be a tick off this evening, and you know, as I start to look through the field, the only battle that we really still have on track is the best one is the top 5. And I'm going to throw Owen McLaughlin in there, even though he slipped off about 2 seconds from David Holland. He's still very much a part of this battle. And, well, I think these guys will probably set the tone for the pit stops, which as we approach the 30-minute mark, John, we get into that window somewhere between 30 to 15 minutes left where it's kind of like a crapshoot. It's anybody's choice as to whether or not they want to come in on this restricted fuel tank.
Yeah, right now I would imagine a lot of these guys are going to stay out just because the track temperature is increasing, and so they want to stay out as long as they can and gain that momentum and that stopwatch on this cooler track. So I don't expect anyone to pit in the next 2 or 3 laps. So we'll see what happens. I could be wrong.
What are you feeling as a driver in the cockpit? How is the wheel feeling in your hand as the run continues to go on? The heat goes up. How is that? What's the feedback there?
Well, the feedback is, especially right where they're at right now in Allegretta Corner, that car gets slippery. These tires get hot. These Hankooks, you know, what an incredible tire this season for this car and this tire manufacturer. But that wheel becomes really light, and it's due to sliding, slipping, and sliding. And let's face it, Watkins Glen, it's wore out. You know, she's old, but she's still fast, and it's still a legendary track. And that's why you have these concrete patches, as we see here, coming out of the heel.
Now, of course, those are no longer a factor at Watkins Glen because it has been repaved, but here in iRacing, we still have that, and oh boy, we got a problem on track, and that did not look like a good one. Going to the replay on that now. And John, Tyler Gore just having a little bit of trouble managing it there.
Yeah, he's up in that high line, and that car snaps loose, and he tries to correct it. That, like I said, that corner is an off-camber corner. You can't take that corner that high. Luckily, he didn't hit anything. It looked like just a self-spin.
Yeah, and that's, you and I definitely have a history of seeing. That generally ends up pretty bad down there. Lots of passes going on the track, though. The file just gets by Jay Steffi, and I thought it was a move by Gunderson that got around Barnett, but Barnett decided to pit, and up front, Overbay just makes a pass on Luke. And I'm jumping us all around, but Overbay with the big move on Eric Luke down into the carousel.
And Holland overtook Montini for that first position.
Right,
yeah, it's they're moving left and right. Hey, real quick though, I want to say a thank you to our viewers here on the Global SimRacing Channel. You guys have been loyal and dedication is greatly appreciated. So thank you to all that's watching in, and feel free to chime in on the chat and ask a question. We'll try to answer it to our best abilities, and if not, we'll embark on a little bit of embellishing.
All right, yeah, we get always embellish that replay there of the pass of Overbay getting by Luke, and Luke was just helpless, powerless to do anything about it. So the top four: David Holland, Francisco Montini now in second, Michael Overbay up to third, and Eric Luke sliding back to fourth, and good old Owen McLaughlin still hanging out back there, John, just a few seconds behind. So all is well at the top, but the game of leapfrog continues up front. Go back to File and Steffi. That is still kind of close. File passed Steffi just a couple laps ago, but File, the big mover of the race, and that's why he's a story, John. Mark, the Pennsylvania driver, up 11 spots, and really he's got this one figured out here at the Glen.
Yeah, and we're kind of covering the top 5 or 6 drivers, and that's because they're all within literally a second or two of each other. When we get back into the drivers you just mentioned, Sean, some of these drivers have a 10-second gap between the driver in front and behind them, but there's still good racing going on back there. Takeshi Kita in 7th, up 10 spots. Mark File up 11 spots. So great job by some of these drivers here.
John, we've been accused of having Hank Hill in the booth, and I'm trying to figure out which one of us would fit that role best. To be honest with you,
I can't embellish on this. I really do not know.
Oh
Hank
no!
Hill.
Come on! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! King of the Hill, John. King of the Hill. It's a cartoon. It's an adult cartoon, John.
Okay.
I would probably associate more with Boomhauer, or at least I do a good Boomhauer impression. I'm not going to do it now because nobody would understand what I'm saying. So anyway, back to the racing on track. Oh man, this has been a good one tonight, John. The battle up front has been intense. We've gone under 30 minutes. We haven't seen any scheduled pit stops yet. We're into that window though, where we think it could happen. But like you said, the temperature on the track continues to go up, and the drivers continue to stay out, and that could get us into a situation where they may wait to those last 15 minutes to pit.
Yeah, they know the track temperature is going to go up. Their lap times are literally within 4/10 of their fastest laps. I think you will see air pressure adjustments on this next, pit stop that some of these drivers take. Obviously, with the track going up, you want to take air pressure down, unless it's like 2 or 3 laps to go. And I don't think we're going to see that, and in which case you would bump the air pressures up to get a faster lap time. So these guys are just managing the track and their tires. Obviously, the back and forth of first place has even stopped. Montini has taken a comfortable ride there in second. Holland it looks like he's pulling away some from Montini, but it could be that, Montini just wore out his tires.
And you know who's turned up the wick back there? McLaughlin, John. He is starting to get a little faster, and actually he's chasing Luke now. That has become a legitimate battle between those two. I don't know if it's a combination of maybe Luke falling back to him or him getting a little bit faster, but based on their previous laps times, McLaughlin was faster by a full 1/10 of a second, so it's marginal, but he's closing it.
Yeah, real quick, Sean, someone's asking, are there any girls in this field? Outside of maybe the stands, no, unfortunately, there are only men in this race, not because it's a men's only race. Women are certainly welcome to join the Precision Racing League, and I'm sure encouraged, so, but not tonight.
Heard your wife might be driving next season, John, so look forward to seeing that maybe. Have an Ambrose in the booth and an Ambrose on the track?
I don't think so. Unfortunately, she thinks the E in the gas tank means eternity, and it wouldn't work for this pit stopping here.
All right, John. Well, I think with the time we have left, we'll maybe look at it about 15 laps. So as a driver, and you see that, you start to crunch the numbers in your head, or your crew chief is crunching those numbers for you. if you're like an Owen McLaughlin, any reason to press, or are you good just sitting here until the pit stop? Is it really just managing everything till the pit stop at this point?
Well, these top 5 guys, they have to pit together. We've seen, and you know, our viewers have seen how important the slipstream is coming out of those high speed S's. If they pit off sequence from each other, then they lose that drafting help from the car in front of them. So, whatever Holland does, the rest of the field will do. I don't expect the guys behind Holland to pit before Holland does. It's kind of like, you know, when Holland goes in, that dictates what the field's going to do. If it were me, if I were calling my driver into pit road.
You know, I'm looking back here a bit. I go back to 6th place, and I really see the only driver right now that seems to continue to make progress is the Samurai Kita, back there in 7th. Aside from that battle back there for 8th with File and Steffi, File got around Stephanie and seems to be managing that well. Delp his mirror is starting to get a lot bigger with Takeshi Kita's that red, white, and blue car, and behind him, Kita was a full second faster the last trip around, and well, a second is a lot here at Watkins Glen. It'll be just a matter of time before he catches him. Here's that lap comparison. In fact, John, look at that across the board. Kita is coming.
Yeah, and what a perfect time to do that. I mean, he's we call him the Samurai for a reason, and obviously he's hunting down those drivers in front of him, and that's what a Samurai does. He hunts down his prey. Now, hopefully he doesn't decapitate Delp as he passes him, but you know, we don't know. This is the virtual world.
We don't know. This about this point in the race last week in Montreal, this is where we saw Kita in the field, having come up many spots, found himself at 6th place just about this time, and now battling for, again, 6th place and catching Nicholas Delp. So we'll definitely keep an eye on Takeshi Kita's progress. The top 3 are still Holland, Montini, and Overbay, but that game of leapfrog has discontinued, and Luke and McLaughlin have fallen back a little bit further. And that run that McLaughlin seemed to be having is kind of stalled out just a bit. That tells me, John, that these cars are getting a little bit unmanageable, and it may be getting really close to a pit stop here soon.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're seeing the difference between what a half a pound of air pressure will do in these cars. The person in first is running X number, and the person in 5th is running probably a half pound more than what that person is running. So we're seeing the difference in the delta here on the track. We can see it visually on screen. Eric Lukes, though, he's still holding on. The lap before, he had the fastest lap time. This last time by, Montini did, but Luke's still carrying a good pace.
Any chance that when Holland comes in, John, that he may take about 8 pounds extra pressure in some of those tires?
Only if he has a spotter and the spotter accidentally makes that change for him. No, he doesn't want more air pressure right now.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. That's good to know. We'll keep an eye on that situation as it develops. Just under 21 minutes to go, and the season is over. It's hard to believe 10 races have gone by so quickly.
Oh, and Luke is in. Luke is in the pits.
He snuck in there too, John. He snuck in there. Did you see that? He just kind of just peeled off. Gave no real indication. He zipped right off like he had worked on that a bit, maybe. Wow. Now he's going to take the chance of going solo here on this. So he pulls into his box there. Stall number 4.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this. We talked about turn 1 and how wide they're going, but these drivers have to be extremely careful coming out of pit lane and getting ready for that turn 2 into the S's, because the way these drivers are taking 1, luckily Luke comes out in a safe position. He's got a car in front of him. If he can catch up and just get a sniff of that draft, he'll be in good shape.
I think he is, John. That's Jay Steffi up in front of him. I think Eric is definitely going to get a whiff of that. Boy, he came out just at the right time. He's about, just about 1.1 seconds back. A second will get you in that draft, I think. Boy, that's got to be close. We'll see if he can wheel it up to him. Up at the front, Holland and Montini have broken away from Mike Overbay. Montini's picked up his pace a little bit that last lap. He was fastest.
Well, Luke has kind of laid down the gauntlet here, so we'll see what happens with Holland and Montini. But yeah, Montini he's definitely turning the wick up. Not coming in this time.
You see Montini try to step out there.
And that's more, a psychological move than anything with these cars here. They don't have an overheating issue. Fresh air on the nose is good, but you're in a hard braking zone, and as you can see, he's got to run through the S's.
So it is back to playing a little bit of leapfrog here. Montini getting around Holland down in the carousel. While that was all going on, John, we missed Espinoza back there battling with David Barnett. I don't know if we want to try and take a replay on this, but man, that was crazy for a moment. In fact, they're still battling Aaron Webb in the middle of that now. And this has been going on now for about 2/3 of a lap. Oh, Michael Overbay is around. No, he didn't need that, John. Oh, what a critical error for Michael Overbay.
Allegretta corner. Yeah, as we watch here on the replay coming out of the high-speed carousel here in 5. It's got a good run. Looks like he's going to go really wide on the entry and get on that gas too soon. And like the driver before him, luckily he didn't. Whoa!
Wow, McLaughlin. I did not see that initially, and that's going to be where Overbay picked up the damage on the car, I think, because he didn't hit anything here on the spin, did he, John?
I didn't see.
No.
It
No, he
looked
didn't.
like either Takeshi Kita or McLaughlin got a
No,
piece
that
of
was
it.
McLaughlin. Oh, and both have damage, and that hurt Overbay bad enough that he's not been able
Out
to
on
get
the
back
track
to the pit.
again. Yeah,
And the leaders have all pitted, John. Oh, Overbay is going to tow. He's gutted. He's going to tow or he's got to wait. No, he's waiting. That's race over for Michael Overbay. Unfortunately, John Francisco Montini gets out first. Leaves McLaughlin, Delp, Steffi, all sitting.
Well, actually, Holland got out first there.
I missed
Sean.
that. I did.
Yeah.
I missed it. All
And
that
the
craziness
Samurai.
going on.
Let's take a moment here. The Samurai is leading the last event here on the PRL. He is in first place. Obviously, he still needs to pit, but what a great way to send off Takeshi Kita in this round 10 of this series.
He's already my favorite for next season. I don't want to jinx him. He has a really good chance of winning the championship next season, John. Just leave it at that.
Halloween, Sean, I will be a samurai.
Okay,
I've
all right.
decided.
Holland and Montini, there is your pit comparison. And boy, Holland really zipped it in and out of there. 5 seconds in the box here in an F3 is really quick. That's the fastest time I've seen, in fact. I don't see anybody on the board that did a faster time than that. And the only person that hasn't pitted yet is our leader, Takeshi Kita. In fact, Kita coming into the final turn now, John. And it looks like it's time for him to head off into the wild beyonder. There he goes, down the pit lane for Takeshi Kita. David Holland coming around, out of the final turn, down the front straightaway, back across the start-finish line. He will now be your leader by about 2.7 seconds, John.
Yeah, but look where Eric Luke is. Remember, he was the first one to pit
Right.
in these top runners, and now he's on the back of Montini within 5 or 6 car lengths. Look what he does here on the slipstream coming through the S's on that back straightaway.
And you know,
Let's see if he can make up ground.
He didn't get that help from Steffi that we had hoped he would. In fact, he started to lose Steffi just a bit until Steffi took the pit. But Luke done a great job of getting up on the wheel since he got back to the track, and now begins to close the gap on Francisco Montini. We're going to have a battle here for P2.
And remember who conserved their tires in the first 35 minutes of this race. It was Eric Luke. Montini was battling Holland lap after lap after lap. And, you know, those dividends are going to pay off, and they're going to pay off starting right now as we watch him and hopefully come up through this field.
Yeah, McLaughlin, John, although he is, well, he's lost them just a bit, he is still out here. And, well, Takeshi Kita sits in the mirror after his pit stop at 2 seconds. So Kita back there with a chance to maybe get a position for McLaughlin, maybe even go to battle with him. We'll see. Kita's got, he's got Nick Delp in his mirror.
Another one of those crash for cash drivers. And you know, by the way, I've got to know.
Luke has had a major problem. John, we've jinxed him.
He's over
Luke
the wall.
is. Oh no, he joins the over the wall gang. Well, the fans right there just seem helpless, John. They just sit there paralyzed watching.
Look at this replay. Something happened. I don't know if his wheel or pedal broke or something.
Yes, something's not right because the car is still there. As we're in the replay, the car, and I'm looking live now, the car is still there, hung up on the barrier. So Eric's had some sort of failure there, and I think finally has disconnected as a result of that or gone in the pit. But
no, he's moving. He's moving on the wall currently. I mean, he's in the throttle right now. Eric, if you can hear us, you're going straight, but you're on the other side of the wall.
It's not looking good there for Eric. Something obviously up there for him, and when everything looks so hopeful there, man, he was gaining. Now it's up to McLaughlin. He's got a long way to go, though, to get there to Francisco Montini, and he's got the Samurai right behind him. So I don't know if McLaughlin is too concerned about that P2 spot. He's got the podium right now. He's got the back end of it, and he's just got to hang on to it here for about 12 and a half more minutes.
Yeah, and Eric Luke has finally disconnected from this event. Unfortunate this evening. What a great run. Yeah, we have Takeshi Kita. Obviously, Owen McLaughlin and Kita, I believe, are teammates. And what I started to say before Luke had that unfortunate incident, they drive for Crash for Cash, which is a tongue twister in itself. But I have to understand what is behind this name, because if it's truly Crash for Cash, then Owen McLaughlin should be rewarded $10,000 for that incident, you know, in Allegretta Corner, because he's still running in third position.
He is, and you know, we've overlooked that just a bit. I mean, he did wrap that Armco barrier pretty good. I got to imagine he's carrying some damage on the car, but I'm not seeing it. I mean, he's got the back end of this podium. Takeshi Kita is still 2 seconds behind. He's really not made any significant gains here over the last couple laps. So, yeah, McLaughlin definitely deserves a medal for this one tonight, John.
Yeah, well, you know, Takeshi could be sharpening his samurai sword right now, just getting that paper cut edge on that blade to catch up to McLaughlin.
I would tell you how ancient swordsmiths tested their blades, but that might be a little bit too graphic for GSRC, so I'm going to stay away from that. Just Google it. So, John,
so Sean, real quick, we've got Eric Luke here commenting in YouTube in the chat window. He got a meatball from the first spin, so he decided to exit in spectacular fashion. Well,
all right. Thanks for not only confusing us, but for providing us with some entertainment. So we appreciate that. Thanks, Eric. Nice exit to the season there.
And Michael Over Bay says, I spun while I was just taking it easy and waiting for the pit cycle. Yeah, I would imagine, Michael, you get out of a rhythm trying to preserve or conserve, and it just affects your ability to drive the way you normally drive. So tough evening for him.
Here's one I've been watching, John, for a couple laps, kind of out of the corner of my eye. It's been Sumner. Gunderson is setting him up here for a pass. He's got to run on him here up to the S's. A pretty good exit. Got to try not to lose him here. This is really when you want to gain your ground, and then off exit to the S's. That's where you want to start to make your run. I think Gunderson's going to maybe come up a little bit short this time, John. Let's see.
He's gonna come up short, but he's gonna be right there on his heels going through the boot. No pun intended.
Now, you intended for that. You knew exactly what you were doing. Just like when you hit me with that sled. You knew what you were doing.
It was not me. I talked to Mom. It wasn't me. It was the Heinies or the Heaney. It was the Heinies, she said.
The Heinies.
That's what she said.
We weren't supposed to talk to those kids, John. All right, back to the race. Gunderson trying to set up Sumner here. He had gotten on his heels, John, but looks like Sumner's a little bit faster in the twisty bits. Now, there aren't a lot of twisty bits here at Watkins Glen, and someone's pulling off the track there. I think that Steffi just had a problem. That was for position. Something happened to Jay Steffi. Steffi was up in P7. Oh, and there it is. Ouch. That didn't end well for the SRT driver. John, he wraps the rumble strips there on the inside.
Yeah,
got the car upset.
Coming down the hill here, or the hill to the heel, and just pops that curb. And just, wow. Got a little airborne there.
Yeah, I don't think that was the plan. Well, speaking of plans, it's still Sumner, it's still Gunderson, still trying to work out that 7th spot. Here comes Gunderson now. Let's see, John, maybe this is it. This is the setup for the pass. He's going to step out. He's going to take a shot at it here. Goes to inside position in the carousel, and he's going to take it.
Yeah, great job by Gunderson to kind of let that, Charles Sumner, to let that pass happen without both of them not losing time.
Yeah, I mean, Sumner's got a pretty good idea here. Listen, I got 7.5 minutes left. I can go back and get him. That's not all lost yet. Got to stay close. I mean, we're about to find out if Sumner was the cork in the bottle or if he was, in fact, just waiting to go back and fight him again. Gunderson's already opened it up to 0.6 of a second.
Real quick, Sean, we got Nicholas Delp coming up on Takeshi Kita here. He's about, a little over half a second faster each lap and has caught up pretty close within 10 car lengths to Takeshi.
And a lot of the passes that we've seen this evening, as you look here on the lap comparison, a lot of the passes have been pretty easy. But to your point there, John, Delp, since he made that pit stop, definitely making some gains here. And I think that's got to be a concern for Takeshi. I know he was maybe trying to go find a podium up there with McLaughlin, but right now it's Nick Delp that probably has got to be his biggest concern.
Yeah, actually, Nicholas's pit stop was about 3 seconds, a little over 3 seconds longer than David Holland, our leader. So I wonder if maybe he took tires as well. I don't know.
I'd say based on his time, pretty unlikely, John. Looks like McLaughlin, actually, the only one right now, at least up in the top. Yeah, the only one that gambled on the tires. And it still got him 13.5 seconds behind Montini, but it does still have him well safe ahead of Takita. I did it. Hashtag Takita. Takeshi Kita. He's starting to pull away from him. So McLaughlin, actually, those tires look like they are starting to pay off for him, at least in being able to stay away from Kita, not necessarily going and catching leaders.
Yeah, let's watch Delp here going to 1 and see how wide. You could see Takeshi driving defensively, but that is actually a horrible spot to be going into 1. Delp has the preferred line. He's going to get him.
Power move from the outside by Nick Delp, and he gets it right off exit, John. Now, Takita's going to come try and fight back here. Takita right on his gearbox, up through the S's, looks to the straight. And he's going to weave to the outside here. Boy, he had such a run on him. Up through the S's, though, getting around the outside pretty easy as he pulls through the slipstream and around. Kita's going to have a position into the carousel and down into Allegretta.
It's not over, Sean. Let's see if he does the crossover here coming out of Allegretta corner. He's there on the outside, not the preferred line, but he can do the cutover coming out of the toe.
Oh, baby. Who knew? I knew that we'd get a great battle that involved Takeshi Kita this evening here in the season finale.
Nicholas Delp, how about him? What a great race for him this season. He's he's always quiet. He's in the event, but what a great run he's having this evening. Good qualifying effort too on his half.
I think that one with 4.5, how much time we got? 4 minutes left. I think that's going to be a battle right down to the last lap. It's the only one we've got left. It's allowed McLaughlin. Honestly, he has really dropped the hammer and left Kita in the dust. Over 4 seconds now. Again, it's all about this battle between those two, Kita and Delp now.
Well, real quick, our front two runners here, Holland and Montini, are maintaining literally identical lap times each lap by. So Holland currently has a little over 1 3/4 second lead in front of Montini.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Delp's going to get something done, he better start trying to set this up a little bit better. But I don't know. David Hebert, just up in front of these two, John, is going to pull out of the way. What a class move by David Hebert. He got off the turn there, the right-hander, and he just pulled right down to the inside of the track. He saw those two, and it really just left the battle unaffected. But we've had a spinner.
The lazy Gator took a spin.
A lazy, hazy spin for the Gator.
Got high center with that undercarriage there.
That's a shame. So close to finishing this race. And going to lose a position there on that. Boy, Delp really got to run down the front straight, John. He closed that up to about 3/10.
Yeah, I think we've got double popsicle sticks here. I think we'll have 1 lap to go once David Holland comes across the start-finish line. He's currently in the high-speed carousel.
There we go. Ha! He gets back in line. Or does he? He's back. He backed out of it, John. I'm going to save it for the next lap, maybe. Oh, you don't want to fight here, not side by side. Hey, do it. Oh, boy.
And he's got the preferred line. Delp has the inside line here going. Oh, what a great job of out-braking by Takeshi and backing off by Delp. Good give and take there.
That Francisco, we've been watching this battle and lost sight of what's going on up front. Holland under threat with 1 lap to go. I think they're coming across the white flag right now. Holland 6/10. That's all that separates it from the lead. And Francisco Montini.
Montini has to get through these high-speed S's perfectly, but Holland has a lap car in front of him, which could help him in the slipstream down the back straightaway, Sean.
Is going to catch that lap car. That is really, really going to help. That's Aaron Webb up there. He'll get a little bit of it there, but I don't think it was quite enough. It looks like Webb actually slowed down. Or is that far off pace, just that they were that much faster. But I don't know if Holland got a whole lot of help from that, but the gap's still at 0.6 of a second. Francisco not able to close. Kita back there trying to break the draft. He's sending Nick Delp all over the track, changing lines. Nick Delp 0.6 of a second back. Holland up front still trying to fend off Francisco Montini. It's still 0.6. Holland has got it here, the right-hander. Keep it on track. You've got 3 turns to go.
What a great season Holland's had this year. I mean, just a consistent banner of excellence from this driver out of Texas.
Here we go. The Texas driver comes out of the final turn, right up against the tire barrier, down the front straight, back and forth, waves out, even scrapes the wall a little bit, come across the line, and the winner here in round 10 at Watkins Glen, Francisco Montini takes P2. Owen McLaughlin heading to turn 11 for the last time. Owen is going to take a P3 tonight.
Here comes Takeshi Kita out of the final corner.
Oh, boy. I think he's got it, John. The Samurai P4 in what might be his best finish of the season. I have to go back and look, but 13 spots in a P4. Nick Delp going to go home 5th. Mark File coming out of 11. He's going to finish 6th. And that's a long way back to Gunderson, Sumner.
File finally got around Gunderson. I wasn't watching it, but he's going to come home with up 13 positions to 6. What a great night. Same thing with Gunderson.
Yep, big night for. In fact, Gunderson was the big mover of the race, who finishes 7th. He started 21st tonight. In this battle for 11th, actually, Espinoza Barnett. Remember, we looked at it a little while ago. Espinoza trying to break him. Oh, he gives him a little bit of space and he closes it down. John, they've got 3 turns left to go.
Yeah, unless the Lazy Gator can throw out some gator skins, I think Espinoza is going to stay out front there.
Well, he's got to be out in front of him to throw the road gators out, John. So remember that, okay? So looks like Espinoza's got this in the bag. If he can get 11 figured out, ooh, the Lazy Gator is right there. But I don't think it's going to be enough. In fact, Andres Espinoza, the SRT driver, SRT strong in an 11th place tonight. Daniel Barnett, last car on the lead lap to finish this race. John, at number 66, takes P12, but we are done here at the Glen in beautiful Watkins Glen, New York. We're going to take a quick break here from the iRacing Esports Network and the Global SimRacing Channel. Stick with us. You don't want to miss the end of this season. We'll be right back.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
And we're back here.
We're back.
at
That's
Watkins
right.
Glen.
We're back. Here we are.
Yes. Thanks, John. Here we are back on the iRacing Esports Network and the Global SimRacing Channel. Round 10 of the Precision Racing League season here in the Dallara F3. Its debut season is now in the books. What a great race. Let's run through the results quickly because we got a few drivers and a champion waiting to talk to us. David Holland, your big winner, taking care of business, wrapping up the championship tonight here in New York. Francisco Montini, he'll get a second place finish tonight. Owen McLaughlin with a great drive will round out your podium. Takeshi Kita, the Samurai tonight, P4. Nick Delp, a fifth place for him. A good fight, but only fifth. Mark Feil with a great race this evening in sixth. We talked about Gunnarsson, his success here tonight, 14 spots he picks up. Big gainer of the race, seventh place. Eighth, going to go to Charles Sumner. And Jay Steffi will finish ninth. They battled through most of this race together. Great run for both of them after surviving trouble there early in the race. Ty Gore is going to round out your top 10, Sean. John. I'm Sean. You're John. Take the rest.
All right, Brian. In 11th, we have Andre Espinoza. Unfortunately, not a good finishing result for Andre. He was involved in a little incident there, but in 12th, Daniel Barnett. Aaron Webb in 13th. David Hebert. Nailed it again. In 14th, Howard Cosell style. All right, in 15th, Paul Wilridge. 16th, Lyndon Swaby. And Eric Luke coming home in 17th, 12 positions down. In 18th, Michael Overbay. Tough night for Michael Overbay early on in the race, dropping 14 positions there. In 19th, David Cristelli, and rounding out the 20th, Christopher Richards. I'll go ahead and finish it, Sean, or Mark, Joey. 21st, we have Jefferson Padavani Glitter Pants. Unfortunate incident there in turn one. 22nd is Danny Duchesne. That is your running order of tonight's race.
All right, John, and you disappointed me tremendously. You Joey's name like that. It's very unfortunate, but what is fortunate is that we will talk to David Holland now, the winner of this race and the winner of this season. Man, you've commanded a lot of these races. Tonight, though, I don't know that it was always certain. You had a bit of a fight up there for about half of this race with basically the top five.
Oh, well, hold on, David. Before you talk, let's tell Sean the truth. Who helped you tonight? Come on, David. Who helped you?
Oh, John put the magic tweaks on this thing before the race. He was up there in the box for me.
Now, okay. Now, wait a minute. John is not supposed to pull double duty. He's not supposed to commentate and tweak. So that's that might be a first here on GSRC. I don't know. Well, David, did it help?
Oh, it definitely helped. I didn't have a chance without that. Oh no, it was a great race though, and me and Montini had a pretty good fight there at the beginning, and he kept me honest that whole race. He was putting the pressure on for sure. So congrats to him, and congrats to Owen on a great podium.
Hey, David, I'm curious, did the temperature and the fact that it continued to rise throughout the race, did it make much of a difference since there was like almost 70% of humidity?
It made a huge difference. I haven't practiced with the track tip that hot, and it was getting loose there towards the end. I knew that it would when I joined the session. It kept heating up, and I noticed some of the guys, their top speed was quite a bit more than me. But I decided to keep the high downforce just for the end of the race, knowing it was going to get pretty slick up there.
Well, it's a championship. That's how this season winds up for you. How's that got you feeling right now, David?
Feels good. It definitely feels good. I haven't really been on iRacing in about 8 years, and came back, earlier this year, and a lot has changed in 8 years. Esports wasn't really a thing back then, and broadcasting, all that stuff. It's awesome. You guys are doing really just a fantastic job. It's brought a whole nother element to it, but it feels good. And congrats to Overbay. He had a really consistent season. I think this is the only race he really got into some trouble. And Espinoza as well there for the top three in the championship.
Okay, now I got to ask you an important question here because you were away for 8 years, and yeah, a lot's changed. Did you have that I rating before you went away, or did you gain that I rating since you've come back?
I think a little bit of it's been since I came back. I think I came back to 1800.
You've been a busy man. If you don't mind me saying, David's just north of 4,200, folks, and they don't just give 4,200 I ratings away. You got to earn that. That's a lot of work, a lot of hustle.
Yep, which maybe I should thank the wife a little bit here. I appreciate her putting up with all this, and she's been rooting for me and having some fun with it too. So it's been.
Oh, Sean, he lives in Texas, so she gets half. So half that I rating's hers.
Oh man,
that's true. David, anybody besides the wife you'd like to, although you thank the most important person, anybody else you'd like to thank before we move on here?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to thank Precision Racing League putting on a great series, great league. Looking forward to the next one. Also, Apex Button Box for sponsoring it, and you guys for broadcasting. It's been awesome.
David, also, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Quick. Got to thank the team as well. Left Foot Racing, everybody. Lyndon Swaby, Christian Gritzko, Raymond Brogy, David Blackwood, Rod Clenard. I think we're going to have a great. John. Yeah, John. Can't forget you. It's been awesome, and like I said, we're looking forward to next season.
All right, David. Well, hey, from one Texan to another, I'm Texan. Hey, from one Texan to another, congratulations, buddy. Way to represent, bro.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Great job, man. Great job.
All right, that was David Holland. Wow. Well, that was some revealing information. Why don't we talk to Owen McLaughlin about his race? Because John, he finished on that podium too.
Owen McLaughlin in the Crash for Cash. Owen, interesting night. You started third, you finished third, but you had a little incident there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I feel bad about it too because I saw the yellow flag. I should have slowed down, but I tried to gun it and get by Mike, but unfortunately I clipped him. I was lucky; I only had 8 seconds of damage, but I think Mike got a lot more into his race. So feel bad. That's too bad too because he helped me out with the set too. I'm normally a P10 kind of guy. I'm not usually up here with these guys. So,
well. Hey, great finish, great result for you tonight, including that incident. I have to ask, though, tell me about the Crash for Cash. So, obviously, you saw the yellow flag. Did you ignore it in hopes that you would crash and earn some money for that incident? Is that how it works?
Maybe I'm waiting for my payouts. I don't know.
Well, no, I need an application for my brother. I have a brother who would be good at that to join your team. No mention of his name, though.
Hey, for me, Thursday night racing is just about having fun, hanging out with the guys. So it's I'm once in a while I get to have a podium, but most of the time it's just having a lot of fun.
Oh, and he's got 6 brothers. I really have no idea what he's talking about. So that ain't me.
Yeah. Hey, we got lots of room for next season. Now we still got 10 more spots open.
Well, I've already signed up in the other 3 leagues. I figured, I enjoy calling this with my brother, so I may be back next season, but I also may be in there. Listen, halfway through the race, your teammate, Takeshi Kita, was kind of closing up. Then he kind of panned back a little bit. Tell us about that when you saw him coming up.
Yeah, when I had that incident, I kind of slowed down, maybe lost about 5 or 6 seconds. And when it came out of the pits, he was only 2 seconds behind me, so honestly, I thought he was going to catch me. I don't know if the tires were starting to get worn or he was just trying to take it easy. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I definitely expected them to catch me.
Well, what the last event here, finishing off at Watkins Glen, a great result for you. Will you be back in this car next season?
Oh yeah, definitely. So this car I'm starting to have a lot of fun with it. It takes about half a season to a season to get used to it. And the second season, it should be a lot of fun. So it's like I said, it's for me Thursday nights. It's about hanging out with my friends and having a great time.
So Owen, should I call the driver on a side pod if you want to go out and hang out and get a beer after the race or what?
Absolutely, I'm down.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right. Well, hey, Owen, it was great talking with you. We don't normally get to talk with you, but great finish at this round 10 final opening here of this season. Good job, sir.
All right, thank you, and thanks for doing the broadcast, guys. You guys are awesome. So look forward to you guys next season.
All right, Sean. That was Owen McLaughlin finishing third tonight. Have you caught up with anybody?
I have. I've caught up with our good friend Michael Overbay.
I had to come in.
Oh,
yeah, I know, man.
Overbay.
I had to
It just didn't end well tonight, did it?
No, it did not end well. I just had to come in though and say that there's been a protest against David because he had the help of a commentator, like John, and so the championship has got thrown away from him, and now I got it. No, just kidding.
And we're talking with our championship winner,
Yeah.
Michael Overbay.
Yeah, in fact, Lyndon's out there crying about controversy right now already. So yeah, he's out there starting trouble. Thanks, Lyndon. Michael, what a great debut season for this Dallara F3. It's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
Oh, this car's great. It really lends for great racing. I mean, you notice most of these races have come down to the very end. There's been very few that David's been able to walk away from, but I mean, they've all come down within a second of each other at the end of the race, and that's just what's so good about this car.
Now
It's
I know Geodesic's got like 583 drivers or something. Are any more of those guys going to start making their way over here or what?
I might try to talk a couple of them into coming over for next season. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe so. I'm hoping so. I mean,
Hey, I'm available, Michael. Just
Come on
FYI.
yeah, come on over. You can join the team. Come on.
All right. I'm going
throwing
to the
your shingle
website right
out.
after the broke.
Yeah, quit throwing your shingle out. You've been doing it all night. It's not a good look, okay? No,
Hey, you
Michael,
guys together has been a blast to listen to this
Oh, no.
season. I mean, really, you guys do a great job, and just want to say congratulations to you guys because it's really fun to watch this on. When I go back and watch the stream, it's very entertaining, and that's just because of you guys and what you guys do. So congratulations.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, thank you. Hey, look, Mike, I appreciate that. Means a lot because our own mother won't watch us. And so coming from you, you know what? You're like a parent figure right now, Michael. I'm starting
I'm
to
old
tear
enough
up.
to be your parent, probably.
No, I don't know about that. Maybe John's, but I don't know about mine. But hey, listen, Michael, a great season. I know you want to thank a couple people real quick. We got to get rolling because Lionheart is coming up next in the Retro Series.
Thank you, PRL, GSRC, my team, Alpine Stars, and my teammate Jefferson Patavoni for helping out a lot this season too. Thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man. We can't wait to get started next season, and we look forward to seeing you back on track. Thanks a lot, Michael Overbay.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Precision Racing League. Thanks to my little brother, John.
I don't want it to end, man.
I don't either. That's okay. We're going to be back. We want to thank Apex Button Box, please. They've been a great sponsor all season. Apex Button Box is giving away one of those button boxes. We don't know who they're giving away to. We'll find out. We'll let you know when we come back. We also want to thank iRacing and the iRacing Esports Network for putting up with us. Let the GSRC guys come over here and rattle everybody's cage. And then we want to thank the companies that provide the software, hardware for all of our broadcasts.
Can I do it, Sean? Can I do it? Can I finish this out?
Go.
All right, here we go. Look at
go.
Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Little John, that'd be me, Joe, that would be the guy on the directing side, and Dougie, and my big brother Sean, big as in not huge size-wise, just older. If you'd like to find more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find us at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check us out on our social media on Twitter at GSRC Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Next race, round 1. That's right. Next season, round 1 will be here. Oh, it's the day after Sean's birthday, Thursday, September 19th.
You didn't have to say that.
Okay. September 18th is Sean Ambrose's birthday.
No!
You can send chocolates and balloons to P.O. Box 1234 in loving care of California. Look for all upcoming races and other series listed on your screen. Check those out, mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.